Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is August 12th of 2021. I just had a Windows update. I'm running Windows 11, by the way. And I just had a Windows update, and then I see that there was one yesterday, which I think was maybe just installed with this one. So yesterday's install was Windows 10 Insider Preview 21390.1, and then today's Windows 11. Oh, I see. Wait a minute. This one says, like yesterday was Windows 10 Insider Preview 21390.1. And then today was Windows 11 Insider Preview, and it was 10.0.220000.51, and it was just now installed. So I think we've got something new added. By the way, just so you'll know, I am just running the one new camera, the Avera Media. I have disconnected the Brio. I'm trying to keep things simple. So right now I just have this one camera hooked up. And of course I'm using the software for it, the Avera Media PW513 cam engine, and so I've got its app running over here on the other. Well, let me show it to you. I'll just drag it over here. There it is. And the only thing I adjusted the brightness a little bit in this video, in this view. Okay, so now let's jump over here and see. Oh, by the way, when I I removed the Logitech, the software that was just released yesterday or the day before for the Logitech cameras. What was it called? Whatever. Sort of like a poor man's Manicam version or something. I had installed it, and the video shows, I think it was made yesterday, shows about it. But I decided there again to keep things simple and remove, I removed that for now. Okay, explore Windows 11. A new Windows brings you closer to the people and things that you love. See what's new. Let's see, getting around in Windows 11, all about widgets and keyboard shortcuts. See what's new. Let's see, everything you care about, one swipe away. Swipe from left to right, or select widgets from the taskbar to stay up to date with what's your favorite. Okay. Start at the center. Select Start on the taskbar to get your favorite apps. And okay, this is something we've been through before. Let's see if we find something. Connect with anyone from the taskbar. I'm not interested in the chat. Don't want to chat. Quickly organize open apps. I haven't used that yet. This open app thing. Let's see, the local key and the Z key. Okay. Okay. tell that. Let's see what the heck this is here. I think I can just voice mod. That is voice. I think that's with the Stream Deck or with the. No, I think that's with the Elgato Wave 3. Okay, so you organize your open apps. Hover over a window to maximize button or press window Control Z. Then choose a NAP layout to optimize your screen space and your productivity. Let me try that again, see what I... Okay, the Windows key and the Z key at the same time. Okay, there it is. But it's showing up on this, isn't it? Yeah, okay, oh, I guess that's because this is, yeah, this is the, I could put this in a little corner. I've never used this thing. I guess let's do that. Well, I think this is just an example. All the apps you need. Let's see. Open the Microsoft Store. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. Let's see. You know, the problem with these apps are somebody installs apps and like, let's say it says Netflix or it says something. It may not be from Netflix or somebody else. It's somebody that's done something, and then you end up running somebody's, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe the thing to do is see how many how many people have rated or something. I don't know. No, I think maybe so. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we have to move along here. A beautiful, easy design settings app. Emojis are here. Windows key plus period. Logo Windows key plus the period. Okay. There they are. I think I tried to show you these before, but then they kind of disappear on, you know. Or it's too small, but let's see, I don't think you can, yeah, I think it's designed this way so you can't, there's no way to make it bigger, way to expand it. Okay, this is one I use all the time, by the way. What I should do is switch keyboards. I should switch back to my Logitech one that's programmable, and I should just put that in as a programmable key. I use that because of my ham radio call sign. That's the 0. Okay. Okay, we're up to 7, and that's as far as it's going. Oh, I see what's new in Windows 11 and 7 of 7. Okay, so we can close this. Is that it? What the heck? Oh. Okay. I think that's it. There must be some new stuff here, but I guess every time we're going to get one of these little updates, we're going to have to suffer through their little bulletin thing. So, what else did I want to tell you? I removed the camera. I told you about that. So there's just one camera. I removed that Logitech camera software. What else? Well, let's go to news here. I just woke up from a little nap. I worked the 2000 census. I've mentioned this before. I'll mention it again, but I won't dwell on it. When I worked the 2000 census in Missouri, and the area was, I'd say, sort of a redneck area. Nothing like the craziness now. I mean, you know, a lot of conservatives and born-again people and that type of stuff. But I mean, that's where I lived, and that's the area that I worked, the county that I worked, Cass County. I had one problem person out of all the people that I, you know, worked, and that was the census where they had the short form and the long form. I'd say one out of every 7 forms we did was a long form. And there was questions, you know, and it'd be, you know, be nice houses, you know. I mean, nice houses. I was living in a mobile home, you know, in Cass County. But I'd go to these really nice houses. And if somebody got the long form, one of the questions was like, you know, do you have a bathroom? Do you have a telephone? Stuff like that. Now, if you're right-wing conservative here in the United States or something like that, and if the government has, you know, C-SPAN, before the census began, I watched all of them, all of the committee meetings. Democrats, and it was, you know, a committee, so you had the Democrats and the Republicans on the committee. I forget who was in the majority then. Doesn't matter, or it didn't matter then. And so every question they went through, the people from the census were there. Not, you know, not of my rank, but, you know, high-ranking census people, to answer the questions of the Congress. Why is the question? They went through each question. Why? And they Congress approved. You know, they were only asking questions that were required, that they were required to ask because Congress had passed or done something that required that they had to have, you know, information on the question being asked. So, but anyway, I went to one person, just went up, you know, you know, knocked on the door, and of course had my little, I forget what it was, you know. Well, I had a bag that said Census Bureau on it. I had an ID card, of course, but Anyway, that guy came to the door. I'm not telling the goddamn government anything. Get the hell off my property. Blah blah blah. You know. And I said, well, sir, could I explain something? Get off my property. Would you just let me explain? You know. Get off my. I said, okay. What I wanted to tell him was, but of course, you know, I wanted to tell him what was going to happen, and what was going to happen was, when I reported back, you know, this, they were going to send out another census worker. I feel sorry for him, you know, unless he happens to show up and maybe the guy's not there and the guy's wife's there and she says, "Okay, my husband won't be here for one quick ass," you know. But I wanted to explain. Okay, another census worker will come out, and of course this guy would have been, if he would have taken a breath, you know, then he could have said, well, I'll tell him the same thing I'm telling you. I'm not doing it. The government has no, you know. And then I would explain. Then what they will do is they will send out a supervisor, because they'll figure we don't know what we're doing. You know, and they'll send out a super. I tell him to get, and okay, and then I say, you know, what would happen then is they might send a higher ranking supervisor out thinking, well, you know, this, you know. And I said, then what they will do is they will send out a census worker who will go to your neighbors and ask the questions that, you know, and of course only the questions that those people could, you know, like, do you know how many people live in that house over there, you know? If it was a long form, do you know if they have a telephone? Do you know if they have a bat? You know, it was. But anyway, but of all the people, and I did the census, the entire census, all three parts of it. First part was we went out. It's been a while, but 21 years or whatever. But you know, the first part was we went out and we verified addresses. I don't think we even had to actually knock on somebody's door. Maybe we did, I can't remember now. But we just verified addresses, and then for part two, that data was taken, and then we were printed up with some information. Now people, you know, so that's the way it worked. And then part three was where we went. And I had one person of all those people. And the point I want to get to, this was a 2020 census. This was, I'd say, a conservative area, born-again Christian area, you know, Southern Baptist, that type of stuff, a lot. I mean, you can't put in, you know, a total category, you know. But I did the census, and except for one person, everybody was really nice. And there were families there were white families who had adopted black children, or others, you know, and there were people who had taken in, you know, had adopted a child with disabilities. There was, I don't think any of those questions were actually on the form, but, you know, you talked a little bit to the people and things. I felt great about America. I thought America is a wonderful place. The American people are, you know, wonderful people. And now look where we are. 21 years later. You know, this is all, the results, you know, the census results, I think, have been released today, or maybe it's tomorrow. And what I thought was interesting now is, or when the census was done, what, a year ago or something? Yeah, it had been done in 2020. There was a 2000 census, and there would be a 2010 census, and every 10 years. The right wing, you know, conservative, you know, people were, to hell with the government. We're not going to tell the government anything or whatever. And the census data is used like, is a post office needed in this area now that, there's more people here or something? Or do we need a veterans hospital, in this area because of, increased number of veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan and that type? They need that kind of, that's where that data comes from. And the important thing is, like, say I'm in Texas now, say Texas, people saying we're not going to tell the Census Bureau anything, and we don't, why should we tell them anything? Why should you tell them anything? Well, now, you find out at a time like this, if people don't, fill out the, census forms, report the data, then the government doesn't know how many people are in that area, and so you get House members based on the population. The more people you have, the more representatives, So if Texas people refuse to cooperate with the Census Bureau and give that information, Texas would have, and other states would have fewer, representatives. I'm not sure that, I'm sure that probably happened. Probably Texas might have another, a couple extra ones. Well, they wouldn't be extras, but you know what I mean. But I'm sure people have been moving to Texas to come down here for the wonderful weather and excellent Texas electrical grid stuff. But anyway, Los Angeles judge dismisses sexual battery charge against Harvey Weinstein. What? Let's see. That's a threat. Ex-FBI official reacts to Trump's remark about an officer. U.S. encounters unprecedented number of migrants at the southern border. MyPillow CEO election fraud proof implodes in front of a live audience. Man allegedly confesses to killing kids. He refers to QAnon and the Illuminati conspiracy theory. That's I was starting to say good story. That's a man. This man, Hispanic, I believe, well, the story's here. He, if I remember correctly, I read the story a day or two ago. He took I think his daughter was 6 months old. I think his son was 2 years old. I might be wrong about this. And these things are not critical to this accuracy of this. It's just an old man's memory. He took the kids. His wife called the police and said, I may not be correct on this, but everything's okay, but my husband, and I haven't been able to get to him, he's not answering the text messages and, blah, 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 blah. Could you, if you find him, could you check? And I'm sure everything's okay. So then I think a little bit of time went by, and the police talked to her, and they use the tracking on her, or she uses it, and then she gives them the information. The tracking thing you can do where it'll show where the phone, was last used, and it was used over in Mexico by a small town. So the police very wisely informed the Border Patrol or whatever. So he exits Mexico, and I'll put the link to this and you can read it yourself to see what I messed up about it. But when he, it was a 2-year-old son and a 10-month-old daughter. I forget what I said, but so anyway, he stops at the border to exit from Mexico and enter the United States, and he shows his, whatever, ID. Then the police ask him, some questions, and then he tells them that he shot his children with a spearfishing gun, and he hid their bodies, there in Mexico. Then this man spoke to the authorities, and about him, he talked about himself being enlightened by QAnon and Illuminati conspiracy theories, including that he had visions that his wife possessed serpent DNA that had been passed on to his children, according to the affidavit, and that's the reason that he killed his children. And QAnon has a whole bunch of stuff like this that they put out, that their people eat it up and just accept it. And then, of course, the Illuminati, I don't think is, or maybe I think they may be worse in their crazy thinking. I don't know. How can you? By the way, and I forget how many years ago it was, I got picked up by a Uber or a Lyft. I was at the doctor's office or something, and it was to bring me home. And I got in, and the driver was talking on the cell phone, and he continued to talk the entire 25 or 30 minutes that it took to get me home. And he was talking to, this guy was a veteran apparently, from what I could hear him saying. And the guy he was talking to was a veteran, because he said something about, I know you're a veteran too, and whatever. And then this, I mean, kind of funny, these people are supposed to be, and he had no idea who I was. And, he's saying, hey, well, I've got this other veteran, he's just getting out of the military service, and he was in, I'm not sure if he said G2, which is, I think, intelligence, or if it was G2 plus something else, something like that. He was saying, yeah, he'll be a great help to us, and yeah, he knows all about the things, he knows that whatever the number was, 10,000, 10,000 members of the Democratic political system, congressmen and senators, and Hillary Clinton, and so on. Yeah, they're going to be arrested here in a few weeks. The warrants are already, it's like top secret, but the arrest warrants have already been made out for, like, oh yeah, And he just went on like that. When I left, he was still talking on the telephone to this guy, when he got me home. This stuff is dangerous, and people buying into this, to these cult things and to these conspiracy type things, that's dangerous. But what do you do? You know, what do you do about that? And I'll put a link to this. I'll leave it there and go to CNN again so I can well, this is interesting. A millionaire Russian politician shoots and kills a man he says he mistook for a bear. The world has turned upside down. The world has gone crazy. There was a thing here earlier today, I don't see it now, and it was in Texas. A school board was having for a grade school, having a meeting, and the meeting was that the school board was asking, but it already was had made up its mind apparently that they were going to require right now, because of the explosion of people with the virus down here in Texas, because a lot of Texans, including the governor of the state, don't believe in masks and getting the virus, shots. But anyway, so the school board was having a meeting, and the school board was deciding that, okay, the kids coming into grade school now in this school district here are going to have to wear masks until September or something or other. And I'm sure that if the situation continues as it is down here, that they'd probably have to expand, make it longer than that. But I don't see the video now, but I'm needing a drink of Coke here. So it's a public meeting, but what you see in the video is there's some people who have come, their parents, they've come it'd be grade school kids, maybe they have some older, but, and hopefully the kids were not in the car. I doubt they were, because this is a meeting of the, and they probably left the kids with grandma. But there's two guys, and there might have been more, because somebody is videoing this with a cell phone or something. There are two guys that are up the window of this car, parents who are coming for the meeting, and the parents have the window rolled up, and these two guys are virtually crazy. I mean, they're insane. They're there, they are screaming, you're not gonna make, kids wear masks. They're not gonna do it. You can't hide from us. We know who you are. We know who you are. We're gonna get you. We're gonna come and get you. We're gonna get you. We're gonna make you pay. You're not gonna get away with it. In the background, you can see a whole bunch of police, with vests on and everything else. Now, in that video that I saw, there wasn't, they didn't hit anybody or spit on it that I could see or anything like that. But it seems like that the police should have moved over, and of course those people would have gone, ballistic if the police had come over. But the police should have come over and said, please, move back a little bit, And that might have set them off. And then, of course, there would have been hearings about, Well, why did you, for the police, why did you get involved in? Actually, that would be, yelling and screaming at somebody that you're going to get them or whatever. That would be assault, actually. It wouldn't be battery because those people didn't hit the person. But if you're yelling and screaming at somebody, up in their face, of course there was a window between them, we're going to get you, you can't hide from us, we know who you are, we're coming to get you, or whatever. I would say that's assault. Now, when the police went over, it might have, I don't know. No matter what you do, it's wrong nowadays. So what else? I think that's it. I need to get something to drink. I need to take my nighttime medicine. I better take a water pill too if I want to be able to piss. And even then I don't piss good. I don't know which keyboard. I got my Logitech, yeah. I was thinking of the Logitech keyboard because it has programmable, which I never use, has the programmable keys, and I could put in, like when I need that 0 for my call sign or something. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Oh, you know what I did? Got to remember when I'm just talking to, use these. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching.